Hi friends, this is my first video. Write the formula of chemical compounds. So generally we use criss-cross method. So the method name is criss-cross method. So in this criss-cross method, so we have to follow a total of 6 steps. In the first steps we have to write the symbols. First step mein. In the second step we have to write the valencies. In the third step we have to crisscross the valencies. That means we have to interchange the valencies. Fourth step, in the fourth step we have to make the valencies to their simple ratio. Fifth step, in the fifth step we have to remove or eliminate one elimination of one in the fifth step. And the sixth step we have to use parenthesis. What is it? Parenthesis in the sixth step. So this crisscross method consists of a total of 6 steps, but for few chemical compounds only 3 steps are necessary. For few compounds only 4 steps are necessary. For few compounds they may need 6 steps. So let us see what is crisscross method. So I would like to explain it with the help of a compound called aluminum oxide. What is it? Aluminum oxide. How to write the formula of aluminum oxide? So aluminum oxide formula. So we know that what is the first step? I told you the first step is we have to write the symbol. So we have to write the symbols of two constituents. If you observe this aluminum oxide, so there are two constituents. The first constituent is aluminum. So the symbol of aluminum is Al, and the second constituent is oxide. So you know that oxide is nothing but an anion of oxygen. So what is the symbol of oxygen? You have to write O here. So we have finished the first step, writing symbols. Now in the second step we have to write the valencies of these atoms. What is the valencies of aluminum? So aluminum is in the third A group. So here aluminum belongs to third A group and its valency is 3. So simply write 3 on the top of the aluminum. So what is the next second constituent? Oxygen. Oxygen belongs to 6th A group and its valency is equal to 2. So write oxygen and write its valency on the top of the oxygen. So second step is finished. Valencies are written. Okay, first step is over. In the third step, what is the third step here? We have to crisscross the valencies. That means we have to interchange the valency. That means write the valency of oxygen at the subscript of aluminum and write the valency of aluminum at the subscript of oxygen. So first you have to write the symbols. So now let us do crisscross. So what is the valency of oxygen? 2. So the valency of oxygen written at the subscript of aluminum. So write 2 at the subscript of aluminum. Now aluminum became Al2. So now write the valency of aluminum at the subscript of oxygen. So write 3 here. So now oxygen became O3. So now Al2 O3. So here what is the fourth step? Fourth step is to write the simple ratio. So here this number is 2 and this number is 3. So these are prime numbers. So the simple ratio will be the same. So since these are prime numbers, 2 and 3 are prime numbers, there will be no simple ratio. Then we have to simply write it as Al2O3. So and we have to check, is there any 1 here? So what is the fifth step? Elimination of 1. So since there is no 1 here, we have 2, here we have 3, but we don't have any 1. So this step is not applicable. And the last one is parenthesis, fifth step. In the parenthesis, this parenthesis is only used for polyatomic ions. So here we have only 2 constituents. Aluminum is not polyatomic ion, and the second constituent is oxygen. Oxygen is also not polyatomic ion. So we don't need to put parenthesis for any one of the constituents. So we don't have any 1 here. We don't have any polyatomic ions. So the final answer will be the formula for aluminum oxide is Al2O. That's it. So this is the first example. So now let us see second example. Let us see second example. So for this I am taking another one. So calcium sulfate. So let us see what is the step 1. In the step 1 we have to write the symbols of these two constituent. What is the first constituent? So the first constituent is calcium, so simply write Ca. And what is the second constituent? The second constituent is sulfate. Sulfate is a polyatomic ion. What is sulfate here? Sulfate is polyatomic ion. So what is its formula? The sulfate, the formula for sulfate is SO4. So here we have sulfur and we have 4 oxygen atoms. So that's the reason it became polyatomic ion, because we have total 5 atoms. So thus sulfate is a polyatomic ion. So in the second step, what the second step, we have to write the valencies of these constituents. So calcium belongs to second A group. Calcium belongs to second A group and its valency is 2. So simply write 2 on the top of calcium. And sulfate. So sulfate ion. So the formula for sulfate ion. The formula for sulfate ion is SO4 2 minus. So here 2 is the valency and minus is the charge. So write SO4 here. And since it is a polyatomic ion, we have to put parenthesis and write its valency on the top of the SO4. And in third step, what is the third step here? Crisscross. So write calcium and write sulfate. It is a polyatomic ion, so put parenthesis. Now what we need to do? Crisscross the valencies. That means the valency of sulfate should be written at the subscript of calcium. The valency of calcium should be written at the subscript of the sulfate. So now down, crisscross the valencies. This step is over. What is the fourth step here? Make it the valencies to their simple ratio. So see here we have we have 2, here we have 2. So these 2 will be cancelled in the second table. So when we cancel them, it became 1 and SO4 also became 1. So now 2 here 2 and 2 both got cancelled in the second table. So as a result they came to simplest ratio. Previously they are in 2:2, now they are in 1:1. This is the simple ratio. So we converted the valencies into simple ratio. So now let us come to the fifth step. What is the fifth step? We have to eliminate one. That means we have to take out one. So here what is the fifth point is, if any constituent receives 1. If any constituent receives 1, we simply remove the ones and write the symbols as they are. So here calcium receives 1, so simply have to write Ca. And SO4 receives 1, we have to simply write it as SO4. That's it. And sixth step is, so parenthesis, it's about parenthesis. So we use parenthesis for polyatomic ions. So we use parenthesis for polyatomic ions. But whenever this parenthesis receives 1, if parenthesis receives 1, we have to remove it. We have to remove parenthesis. We have to remove the parenthesis. So here, so calcium, so first simply write Ca, and here SO4 is a polyatomic ion, that's why we put it in parenthesis. But here this parenthesis taking only 1 and that 1 is removed, so we don't need this parenthesis since it is taking only 1. So simply remove this parenthesis and simply write SO4. So that's it. So all the 6 steps over. Now we got CaSO4. So the CaSO4 is the formula for calcium sulfate. Is the formula for calcium sulfate. In this way we can write